guys, Jake and Marisa back in for more live reactions to Uchu Sentai Kyuranger. Here we are again. So,
you may have noticed we were wearing the exact same clothes.
Yeah, tonight we actually decided to just do back-to-back recording, because we got, we're going to be having some friends over, tomorrow night, and
we're going someplace on Tuesday,
yes.
and I have things on Monday,
so we decided,
if we want it out by Wednesday, we got to film it tonight.
Yeah. Seems like a thing to do, so we just took a break from after watching Power Rangers to have some dinner. And now we're going to enjoy some Kyuranger with our dessert. Yay. Got some ice cream. Peanut butter pandemonium. But with two things that I noticed in the comments. Somebody mentioned that apparently the constellation for haircut was called I forget the official name of it, but it translates into Bernice's hairs. There are a lot of weird constellations out there. Also, horologium is a clock. I looked that up. Well, it's apparently like horology is the is also just the science of timekeeping, sort of.
That would be like hourology, so horology, yeah.
Yeah. And horoscopes. So, there you go. But apparently the constellation itself is supposed to be like the hand of a clock and a pendulum. Just because they're very abstract with how these things...
Yeah, one hand and a pendulum does not a clock make.
Well, yeah, but also a U doesn't make a bull.
Yeah, hence very abstract.
Yeah, constellations are weird. But, and one other thing that somebody pointed out is with the splitting that the team's going through now, as of, last episode where they split 6 and 6 now, thanks to Phoenix Soldier, each team has its own Red Ranger.
That's true.
So we've sort of now split up into 2 separate Sentai teams, and I'm curious to see how that pans out. I believe that this episode is going to be focusing on one adventure, and then probably the next episode will focus on a separate one.
Yes, I got the picture from the preview last time that we're going with the time travelers this week.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to take a quick look at that, get that set up here. Double check the name of the episode, because I forgot to bring that up.
I'm swallowing my peanut butter, so I'm ready to sing.
Good. Do you have the...
Lyrics are up.
There you go. Alright, so this is going to be... We are now up to... Where's my close face? Oh, there I am. Episode 27 of Uchu Sentai Kyuranger, Indaver Panic within the Orion. Oh my. Play.
Chime.
Magical sound.
He still does himself a nice sound.
Holy moly. As he does like to say. Yay. Another legend begins. Huh. Yeah,
It's got very colorful whole in time.
They've got a little monitor for how far back they're going as they're traveling.
Apparently so.
Huh. So apparently this is not an instantaneous trip.
Stowaways on the Orion. I'll bet it's Indavers.
Yep. How'd they get on here? That's strange.
Seriously?
What? Okay. Holy moly. Don't holy moly.
I'm going to go back with unbelievable is probably a better translation. Unbelievable. Don't you unbelievably me?
These neighbors. Oh, his helmet came off. Pistachio. What? What? Interesting.
Are they defectors?
What? They wait. What? I'm that Indaver from that one time that you guys defeated us before. Which time?
Which
Yeah.
time? Yeah.
Oh,
Like
when the universe falls into cruel clutches, when its inhabitants are in sorrow, then by the power of the Q globes, 9 ultimate saviors will appear to save the universe.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Kyuranger.
見上げた空にさていくつ星がランダル数え切り抜けて不集結者するなら We go この先みんなそれぜ進む抜けなさい触れた時見た時僕ら何をものだる考えてわかんないこと発想と空気づくスペースジャーニーやらない理由とか探さずにキュラン巻き注意注意 You're lucky star キュレンジャー見張ったるそ突破したけキュレンジャー銀河レベル9に中ラッキースターキュレンジャー君が開く未来見てみたいんだ触れるそぶりすゆるティルトゥロリ飛べ飛べ飛べ飛べ続くバトルにとですゆこしじ Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and good luck
You're getting good on those last bits. We're finally getting them. You're getting it more than I am. But we're getting there.
Well, part of that is that I'm beginning to familiarize myself more with the actual words.
Yeah.
Like Shinji, I already knew. It means believe.
Oh, there's still one on the loose, that's right. They went and grabbed him in Paris. They've been forced into working as Indavers. Constant overtime, no vacations. Oh, this is amazing. They are defectors, yeah. How did they get there?
Yeah, we won out!
Yeah, it's a good question. How'd you get on board?
Okay, well, they were having the barbecue. There they are in the back!
Yeah.
Are those their children?
No, the other two are just ducking down.
Okay. That was confusing. I was like, Dave or children. I'm scared.
Yeah. Oh, that time. You got hit by the meteor shower. Was I supposed to remember?
I love how he pushed the memory out.
Wow, fourth wall, what is that? So yeah, it was the day when Lucky joined the Kyurangers.
It's a clip show.
Yeah.
We thought we were going on a time travel adventure, but really it's a clip show.
Yep.
While they're on the way to the past.
This is very much a bottle episode. Wow. I mean, we are halfway through. It's a good time to catch up, I guess. Although this is rolling through things pretty quick.
Introductions, they're rolling through those very quick.
He was a spy. That was a real shot.
See, Shinjiteru? Shinji. I believe that must be the verb of belief.
Oh, that makes him sound downright legendary.
Oh yeah, this is catching him up because he
yeah, exactly.
missed the.
Yeah. So, I guess we picked a good night to eat ice cream. There's not going to be too much new content.
People have already made legends of yourself. Yeah, that's what they've been trying to tell you since you showed up.
Oh, there's the last one.
It's a girl!
Or at least it's acting like one.
Listen to her voice.
Yeah. It's definitely a female. Oh no.
I think he threw out his back.
He threw out his back.
This is just sad. Yeah, it really is.
This is kind of great, though. You okay, buddy? This is great.
Nakama.
Yeah.
It's not just you want to join us, you want to join our family?
Oh, they've been jealous about how well they get along. Oh, this is adorable. Wow. I mean, this does put the Indavers in general in a very different light. Now that we've established that they are sentient.
They're kind of like the Hork Bajor. The Manamorphs?
Yeah.
Remember, they were... They really didn't have much choice either.
Yeah. He forgot about his intro.
I'm pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ego going on here.
There is so much fourth wall to this. Like, this is a very meta episode.
Well, we knew it was going to be meta when, just decided to shove one scene away.
He's like, look at me, aren't I cool? I recommend this scene, it was a really? Wow. You see, this is one of those things that makes Sentai very different from Power Rangers. Power Rangers does not...
I feel like there's this... that whatever term is that they put in I recommend is... There's got to be something lost in translation there. Because, I mean...
Oh, present day. Oh, we do get to see them, too.
Yes, he will. He will smile with you someday, honey.
I mean, I think he was just smiling last episode when he was trying to kill you all.
Smile with us.
He was in their vicinity.
No, you know the difference between laughing at you and...
Yeah, I know. Oh, they're flashing back to memories of Naga.
He did start in a different field.
Gavan, really?
She is just using it.
That is true.
But there's this one song called I Recommend Those Occasions.
Yeah.
And the way the song goes, I feel like...
Recommend is something different.
Not different, but more.
Yeah. I like that this Naga arc is actually given,
Look, your friend is sitting there with his helmet off. Why are you still freaking? Like, if you're all defecting and you see your friend sitting there with his helmet off, chilling with them at the table, now is the time to stop running.
Well, also Champ and Stinger don't seem to be as on board. Andromeda. What's this one do?
It ties you up.
Andromeda has chains. That's interesting.
I heard the phrase Andromeda chain somewhere before.
You're thinking Andromeda strain. That's very different. Oh, what? We're getting an explanation of the Kyutama, too.
I really hope these turn out to actually be defectors.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is just giving the baddies a rundown of basically how they work.
Well, I mean, they should know. But this is something that Sentai can do that Power Rangers can't do so much, just by virtue of how the shows have defined themselves. Sentai has a much looser relationship with the fourth wall than Power Rangers does. And when Power Rangers deviates from that, it's a much more jarring thing. Oh, there's the hairs of Bernice.
I give you also and action.
Yeah. Oh, and Virgo. Yeah. Yeah, Shining Kyuta. What? They make mention of Mr. Pega? Wow!
No, and action was really weird.
Yeah, and action in RPM was a weird episode. But it's one that utilized elements that Sentai does on a regular basis, where they make reference to things as, you know, being in a show. Although that took things even farther by virtue of treating it as a show from production element, as opposed to them acting as if, you know, we are characters telling the story that you are seeing. We are characters
really
performing
jump that high.
a show that you
They
are
have to take the wires out afterward.
Yeah. Nice.
Good work at treating his back.
Yeah.
Now they've all got their helmets back on.
I guess they give them back. I don't know.
Why would you put your helmet back on if you can talk without it?
I don't know. Hey, we don't gotta toss them into the time-space continuum.
Okay, but
Hey,
again,
there we go.
why are their helmets back on?
Yeah.
If they are in fact defectors, keeping their helmets off would be a better idea. And if
Oh, there's a fifth one. Oh, okay, so they are all evil.
So that's why they have the helmets back on. Because they know there's going to be a fight. But seriously, what's with the tracksuit?
Okay, so they're life forms that were created by dark matter. Yeah, of course. Okay. So they wouldn't be dissatisfied with dark matter. They're all having a separate discussion, ignoring him.
Yeah, about the barbecue.
Yeah. So apparently they know about what they're trying to do.
Apparently.
Oh, they want to become CO Indavers.
Oh.
It's interesting that their captain or whatever he is.
What's with the little red tracksuit?
Yeah. Instead of the typical black outfit. Whoop. There goes my back again. What just happened? Where are they? Oh man, they crashed somewhere, when.
When are they?
Yeah.
If they're on a planet, they're no longer traveling through time.
Yeah. Whoa, okay, they went way too far back. Or
Is that Don Armage? No, that is a dinosaur.
Yeah. Apparently Spada knows what a dinosaur is. Because that would be something that's... I am the legendary one. I wouldn't expect Spada to actually know the history of...
I think they only made one of those heads.
Probably. That makes sense, actually.
Are you serious?
They're trying to sow discord. Present day, what's up?
Dramatic piano music.
Katara's gonna cheer up Hami.
Or distracted.
Oh, well, she's just gonna mope.
面倒なことになってなければいいがね。俺はまだ剣のことを信用してるわけじゃないから。何言ってんだ、ガル。剣とは確か最初は衝突したけど、俺は確信してる。
They talk a little
I
bit
know
about
Lucky uses
Tsurugi.
Ore all the time. I didn't remember Garu doing so, but maybe I haven't been paying attention.
I forget what Ore is.
Personal pronoun.
We,
They're different personal pronouns.
well, yeah, but what's Ore indicate?
Big macho man.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's really cute that Kataro uses it.
Yeah.
And really of course he does, that
Right.
he uses it. I mean, he just says Ore-sama, which is taking it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sama is...
It's not honorific, right?
that you put at the end of someone else's name when you're talking to them.
Restore peace in the universe.
When you see people praying, they're usually praying to Kami-sama.
Yeah.
That's a pretty, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think the honorifics go any higher than that, but there are people you would still call Sama. It's not that weird.
No, they're part of his legend. Legendary dish. Many spices.
I still get to be commander, though. There are 5 of you.
Yeah.
And you might get promoted to magistrates if you win, because that'd be so unlikely.
Yeah. We can prove our teamwork is your teamwork's gonna be superior. This is such a bottle episode, and it's really amusing. Teamwork, here we go. Deva Red!
I'm starting...
Deva Blue! Deva Black. Deva, yeah. Deva Commander? Really? Instead of Indaver Pilot?
Well, Ryu Commander.
Yeah, I know. This is great.
Their color explosions are not working very well. I'm starting to think, based on this whole team thing, that it's very possible that maybe... Because I think I've also seen red tracksuits on gym teachers in anime, and I'm starting to think that might be what that's a reference to.
Fair enough. There we go. Yeah.
Are we having a battle of the
roll call?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Where you Commander falls over. Commander, please don't overexert yourself.
This is great. This is so silly. They're not even bothering to morph. They're just like, these are Indavers. We're just gonna beat them up. This is so silly. Oh.
See this gym teacher. That's just Yandere Simulator.
This is a nice little chance for these actors to show off their stuff.
That seems to be exclusive to Yandere Simulator, which I highly doubt they'd be pulling from.
Fair enough.
We didn't even need to change.
I'm getting in on this.
Nope, there goes his back again.
Come on, man, give it up. They really like having him be old. Oh, we do get a morph.
Oh, he's gonna do a finisher.
Yeah, just to finish him off. Yeah.
Boom.
That's a big idea. Kevin rise to another new legend.
What are you
But
commander?
I'm
Really should
commander.
be laying actually on your back. You're having a back problem. Stop what you do.
They really like playing with him as an old man character. Alright, so there we go.
Which means they know where you were going.
There's the secrets.
Well, yeah. How Don Armage is not dead.
Yeah.
That's what you're going back to find. Of course this is a secret.
Very mysterioso. Oh, here we go. The Ranger. Q Ranger. Oh, Q Ranger. 2-1. Oh, Q. Man, man. Ohio. Oshitama. Oshitama. Ha-ha-si. Q-tama, 3, 2, 1, oh Q, man, man.
Q, Tama,
Tama, Tama, Q, dip, Q, Tama, 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 Q. Tama, 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 Q, Tama, 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 Q, 3, 2, 1, oh Q, man, man.
Q, Tama, 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 Q, Tama, 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 Q,
Alright, so now we get a little bit of
we're going
focus
back to
on
Naga again.
what's going on with Naga.
Who is apparently misbehaving at Child Playland.
You know, the BN Thieves disbanded.
Double blue, double green.
Well, we got,
No, they actually had double blue, double green.
oh, they're all using Gemini. Interesting. I was gonna be like, well, they do have both Katara and Garu.
Yeah, but I'd already seen them in their suits before that. And they were the same color. I could not tell if those were the same color.
No, I just didn't see that at first. I missed it because it went by a little fast. That looks like that's disproportionate. That robot should not be large enough to be able to be seen on the surface of Earth like that.
That robot is large enough to kick Giant Ray in the shins. If she had shins.
Was Giant Ray that big?
Oh yeah!
I haven't seen it in a while. I forgot.
But she also
I forgot
didn't
she
have
was that
shins because she appears to be waist deep in the earth.
Okay. Weird. Alright, so
Hence, if she had shins.
So that was a very fun little detour episode, literally.
Yeah, as clip shows go, not too bad.
Yeah.
Kind of enjoyed the business with the Indavers.
It was very tongue in cheek in a good way. Which is a tough balance to strike.
It is.
I think Sentai has, as I said, has a little advantage over Power Rangers in that respect.
Well, they never have taken themselves all that seriously.
Yeah.
They've always been very aware, sort of even
of the
audience.
Of
their audience. Yeah. Well, that's because it's somewhat more of an institution.
Yeah, it is. It's
Power Rangers is one of many children's shows. Sentai is an institution.
I mean,
in the same way that, for example, every kid we would expect to know Sesame Street.
Well, Power Rangers has it's become more of a generational institution now. It's coming up on 25 years, huh?
Well, no, I'm not saying that it hasn't been around for very long. I'm talking about the percentage of the population that is invested in it.
Okay, maybe invested is different, but at this point,
I'm not saying that it hasn't been around for a long time. It's not very important to the people who are in it. I'm saying the demographic that is into Sentai is much larger.
Debatable.
Okay, because not every kid likes Power Rangers.
Okay. I imagine not every kid's into Sentai either.
But most of the boys are, because...
But Power Rangers has also been one of the top boy bands for a very long time. It still is.
Part of, I think, what makes it more...
it's still a leader in its demographic.
Yes. More important there is that they do have a weekly episode.
Yeah.
It is.
It's also
52 episodes a year.
It's also got an extra generation's worth. It's got an extra generation's lead on it. That I think is.
Oh no, but I also think that having a consistent, because like you said, they lose viewers during hiatuses.
True.
And Sentai doesn't have any.
True. I mean, also, you may be overestimating the ratings that Sentai is getting.
I'm not talking about the ratings.
Okay. Well, you're saying everybody watches it.
No, not everybody. I'm saying more percentage of the childhood population watches that, I think, than Power Rangers.
And I don't know if that's true or not. It's hard to say. I mean, maybe a greater percentage, but that's also because Japan is a lot smaller than America. So they might have a greater percentage. So it's different over there. I think it's more so just the way that Japanese shows are done is different. They do tend to have this greater lean on the characters are presenting the story as opposed to simply existing within the story. And American shows don't present their stories that way.
Yes.
Like, you go with...
But also we have, for example, far fewer public appearances.
Yeah.
We do not have a traveling stage show.
True. They'll make... We
do not have rock and roll concerts devoted to...
Yeah, that's true. They
theme songs.
They have their event... They do have more events and more of a presence in that respect.
Well, that's why a greater population, I think, is invested in it, is because it has a wider spread.
Right.
It's everywhere.
Okay.
Like, a lot of children's shows, things more like Sesame Street, you find everywhere. They make Sesame Street diapers, for Pete's sakes.
There's also, I think, different cultural relationships with their television
with
shows.
The media, yes.
Yes.
Because the changeover
but
is a big
I
deal.
think that has...
We have started making the changeover a much bigger deal than it used to be now that we have Power Morphicon.
Yes.
The changeover is getting as important.
Yeah. Well, my point is, I think that has less to do with the episode and how it's presented. When we're talking about, like,
I'm saying the relationship with the media is different.
Yes. And I'm saying the way that the media is presented is also different. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing that more so plays into how this episode presented itself.
I think the two are related.
Ish, I guess. It's related.
It's like Spider-Man.
Okay.
He has been known to address the audience. Not to a Deadpool level, but
that depends upon the Spider-Man interpretation.
Fair enough. It's like that one where he talks to the audience sometimes.
Like Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of fans. We're not a fan of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Why not?
Because they
kept talking to the audience?
Partially because they felt like they were trying to make a kid-friendly version of Deadpool. Because that's Deadpool's shtick, not Spider-Man's shtick.
That's true.
And also they made him part of a team of heroes that were not...
Great.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't really seen any of them since.
They're fine heroes in their respective comics. They just were not... they were usually kind of jerks.
Also, I think they have some different advertising rules than we do.
Probably.
Because we are not allowed to have the Power Rangers sell you a toy.
Right, that is true. Not
They are
directly.
allowed to have the Sentai people sell you a toy. Which
But,
means that, again, there's more of a relationship between the characters and the audience than in Power Rangers where it is a production show.
I want to double back to a point you made, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's why we haven't seen those characters much lately. 2 of those characters have had their own Netflix series.
Really?
Luke Cage and Iron Fist were 2 of the heroes
Spider-Man?
in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Okay,
Those heroes
Luke
did not
Cage-
just disappear.
Luke Cage, yes. Iron Fist can go take a flying leap. You know how
They're always presented as a
they kind of go
matched pair.
But getting back to it, and I think that's where I'm coming back around full circle to your original point.
Yeah.
With the whole different presentation, it's because there is considered to be more of a relationship between the character and the audience.
Yeah.
Than there is in our media.
Yeah, and I mean we do have the occasional show that is like that.
I mean, Mighty Morphin had some degree of that with the...
They had the PSAs.
The PSAs, where they would talk to the kids.
But that would never be a thing in-universe. That was always something separate. And this is usually presented as the PSA would be presented. The show is still is aware of its audience more.
Yes, exactly. It has more of a relationship with the audience. It acknowledges the audience. It's like, hey, you're our audience.
And I mean, it means that... And because it's presented that way, and because it's been consistently presented that way, we usually are able to take a few more things in stride with Sentai than we would with Power Rangers.
Yes, especially since a lot of the times if something is really absurd, they'll hang a lampshade right on it.
Yeah.
And then you can roll with it a lot better than if they didn't hang a lampshade on it.
Yeah, and I mean, if Power Rangers...
This whole business, I'm still going to come back to portions.
Yeah. Well, like with Power Rangers, when they're, hanging a lampshade on something, pointing out something ridiculous for the sake of acknowledging it's ridiculous to make it excusable.
Yep, that's what that should be hanging is.
Yes, I know.
No,
because people didn't know.
I was acknowledging that, babe.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were... Never mind. Anyway. When Power Rangers does it, it feels more so like they're... A lot of the times when they do it, they feel more so like they're trying to cheat their way around something.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sentai, it's just...
It's an expected part of the genre.
They're like, we want to do this fun thing, and let's just go along with it because it's fun, as opposed to, we're going to go along with it because we didn't have a better idea for
Sentai
a
is
story.
definitely more rule of fun powered than Power Rangers is.
Yes, that is true.
I mean, that's also why almost every Sentai ends with a dance.
Right. And that's another thing that puts you in that different frame of mind. Like,
they're all dancing for us now.
But this, we're getting really deep in analysis we're getting in deeper analysis on the Clip Show episode than like any other Kyuranger episode.
Well, because there's nothing special about the particular episode, that it's giving us a chance to talk about the genre.
Well, yes and no. We are also talking about the presentation
of the Clip Show.
What this is actually bringing to mind a little bit right now, and how it's very much a night and day kind of thing. Don't blow that dough. I know. That is an episode that I don't even like to think of, at the end of that episode, we've just felt like, what did we just watch? That didn't even feel like a real episode.
That didn't happen!
But look at it as, you have, again, villains asking the heroes to explain the plot of the show to them. In a setting that is very much, we're in a TV show setting. Yep. Even though there was...
But it came off a little bit more like one of those, even though it was supposedly a game show. Yeah. The fact that it was taking place in like an alternate universe thing. Audience visible, kind of made it feel to me absolutely no different from, say, Halloween Court.
Yeah. That's another kind of similar thing where it's like you're very much you're putting the show on display. You're not being shy about what you're doing, but
What?
Here it comes across as fun and silly, and there it came across as contrived and out of place.
Well, I think something similar between both of those episodes is that ostensibly both of them had an in-universe audience that we never saw.
Right.
Which is almost incredibly alienating.
That is, you know what? I think that's part of that's part of it. Actually, they're addressing an audience that's not there, whereas they're addressing us as the audience, which is an interesting.
Yeah, they're
difference.
addressing an audience, but it's not us, and we can't see them.
Yeah.
I mean, we could see the jury, but they also kept addressing the gallery, which was just black space.
And this is.
And then in Don't Blow That Dough, I didn't see any audience.
Okay, this is I want to talk about a show that's great, but you haven't seen. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but I'll go with it. All right, you know what? I'll just go with it, and I'll try and be
low on spoilers, just in case they haven't seen it either.
Okay. If any of you have ever watched the show Mr. Robot, excellent show.
I do want to watch that.
And one of the and it has an episode in the second season that's very much a departure of tone, and it's wacky and dark comedy and fourth wall breaking and very strange. And it works in a lot of ways because they are acknowledging that shift of tone. Mm-hmm. There is a certain level of fourth wall breaking already existent within the series, and that there's narration, which isn't a spoiler, it's just the format of the show. And they're able to explain it in universe, and they're acknowledging the bizarreness of it and pushing it really far, which you really need to do in order to make that work.
It's a little bit like Postmodern Prometheus, the black and white episode of the X-Files.
I don't think I've actually seen that episode, but I think you've told me about it.
Yeah.
Can you explain further?
I mean, it's more absurd than usual.
Mm-hmm.
It's in black and white.
Yeah.
There is general sort of acknowledgement, even between Mulder and Scully, that this is more absurd than usual.
Yeah.
To the point where they suggest that a somewhat...
Another force could be at play.
No, that a somewhat pointed-nosed woman might have had a father who was a chicken.
Okay.
And a fat guy might have had a father who was a pig.
Interesting.
And it actually winds up ending by fading into a comic book page.
Interesting. How was that episode received?
Quite well.
Okay. So it worked the way that they played things. Okay.
It worked very well. Oh, one of the characters in the show was drawing comic books.
Okay.
So that's kind of part of where that came from.
Okay.
But it had, a lot of really old monster cliches, like people with torches following things up in the mountains.
Interesting.
Postmodern Prometheus was essentially Frankenstein.
Okay. Fair enough. So, coming back to Kyuranger here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that gave them an edge in terms of this sort of, minorly fourth wall breaking, I say minorly because,
it breaks the fourth wall in a way that's very similar to most Japanese media.
Yeah. And that's one of the big advantages that it has, in that they don't need to quite push the fourth wall breaking to the same extent that another show would be doing if they were doing a departure. Because this episode, the fourth wall breaking wasn't a huge departure.
No, it wasn't.
It's something that is established within the tone of the show, where they are acknowledging,
I mean, you'll also see it in
their roles in the
various
story.
other media where, for example, someone will be confused and some other character will pull out those cards.
Oh, yeah.
And recap the story.
Right.
It's like anime and other, I guess, adventure type.
Yeah.
Not the dramas, but this kind of show will sometimes, have one character get confused and then another character stop. You have almost like a record scratch. And he goes, now for those of you at home who are also confused, let me catch you up.
Right. And so once again, we'll counterpoint this against Power Ranger clip shows.
Where they have to have some really contrived reason to explain it to someone in the universe.
Yeah. And it usually doesn't really play as something that makes sense within that universe. Now, they've come up with plenty of creative ways to do clip shows.
I think Korag's Trial was my favorite.
Korag's Trial was solid.
As much as I loved If Vengeance won, the clip show
element was contrived.
Was incredibly contrived and weird. But the surrounding
we've had a few creative ones with Dino Charge.
Mm-hmm.
They had to break spells using memories in the last one they did, or they were checking memories for the sake of checking an identity, which didn't quite play.
No, that didn't quite play. And actually,
and that came down to execution
about
of the
clip
questions.
shows and Power Rangers is they have so few episodes now that I don't know why they waste episodes on clip shows when they only get 20 per year.
It must be a budget thing. I don't know, or just because they're holiday specials, they're handled differently. I'm not sure.
Could be.
They want something that's separate from the rest of the show for the holidays. And the easiest way to work with that is have it as a clip show. Means if you're budgeted for 2 extra episodes and you make the 2 episodes that by virtue of being holiday episodes generally are going to be knocked out. Well, let me finish. Are generally going to be knocked out of continuity.
Mm-hmm.
You make those clip shows. That's some extra budget for your main story. That's the end of that thought there.
You could always save Christmas.
Yes, I know. But still, by virtue of doing clip shows, you save money.
Fair enough.
And that is a good way of, if you're able to convince convince your network to order 2 additional episodes, you would assume, okay, they're going to pay the same amount as they would for any other episodes, and you can shift things around.
Divert some of that funds to your other episodes.
Right. That would be my assumption. I don't know if that's how it actually works. I don't know details on that side of the business, but that would be my assumption.
Fair enough.
Now, this one, I would say, yeah, they probably look to save some money, take a little break, get people caught up on the story because we're at the halfway point. Same thing as...
It's actually, I think, more important to have clip shows when you have so many episodes. It's kind of like when Lost would do its catch-up episodes.
I mean, I think that...
Because you could get really lost in Lost if you didn't have the catch-up episodes.
Right. I think with Power Rangers at this stage,
mm-hmm.
I think 1 clip show per season is reasonable considering, you have... you do have things split up across... The story split up across 2 seasons each time.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 clip shows per season is more than you need, but I recognize that it mostly exists due to budget. Yeah. But I could see them using 1 clip show per season and that being fine. For a good long while there, they had 1 clip show per season. Because we had...
RPM only had 1.
RPM had 1, but they also had End Action as another budgetary saver. That was a big budget saver, I imagine. Because Eddie Gazellion's initial episodes were quite expensive, I imagine.
Yeah. That's why they had to switch to that.
Yeah, that's how Jed got brought back into fold there.
Spent too much money.
Yeah, just a little bit. And although he managed to recover a good bit of it, it was a little too little too late from the looks of things. And then before that we had, Blow That Dough, Way Back When with, or was that called Way Back When, or what was it? Yeah, it was Way Back When, I think, was the Overdrive one. That was the one. That was the one that we actually reviewed in Power Reviews.
Got their own plot.
Yeah, that was a very good example of they forgot, and that's one of the things. You have an episode where the characters forget their own plot, and you're not acknowledging it. Then it just looks like you're. It makes your characters look worse. Here it was.
They were explaining things to Indavers who they were under the impression did not know these things.
And that was one of the other things. It brought a fun, interesting element there with, you got to have...
You have heads?
Yeah. we got to take a...
Those come off? That's
we got
what he
to take
said.
an
Those come off?
An added exploration of the faceless grunts of the show.
As it turns out, do have faces under those helmets.
Yeah.
Can speak, but are apparently quite content to do their job.
And they got a little spotlight, which, is welcome in that it definitely adds something, it's unexpected, it adds new perspective, it adds some context, it fleshes out an element of the universe that had not been covered.
So often they don't bother to explain the mooks.
And it created a counterpoint of teamwork. We got
Our team has better teamwork than your team.
We got a spoof team, complete with spoof roll call.
That was adorable.
You had the question of whether or not you could actually trust them.
Which you couldn't, as it turns out.
Yep. But, you weren't sure.
You weren't sure.
And so there were a lot of fun story elements to there that gave us a good background and made this clip show work. You had a good story and good framework that was not reliant upon just coming up with an excuse for the clips.
Yes.
It acted as a good framework for them without solely being an excuse for them.
And Ryu Commander's back kept going out.
And that's kind of a rare thing.
Funny.
That was one of the reasons I enjoyed the Ghostest with the Mostest episode of Dio in Charge, where you had to pick who was. Now the execution of those clips was not great,
but it did give us a good.
There was a good framework. And
much
you had a story where there is an element of what's happening, what's going on, but it's like you ask how someone defeated a monster. Of course, the bad guys are going to know that.
They were the
ones who were defeated. Not to mention the fact that it was all rendered moot by virtue of we knew the monster could recover memories, and so their whole methodology didn't make sense.
I mean, it
made sense to them.
The Rangers didn't know that,
and they didn't know that. That's true, but it was something where you kind of knew. No, because you already knew in advance that they could copy memories, you knew that the test was never going to work. Yeah. And
as it turns out, what actually worked was the fact that Cody used the wrong name. Yeah.
And that was, a good little, very subtle twist there. But, it comes down to the inclusion of the clips. And a lot of times they focus on really random things that just aren't really relevant to the story.
That again?
Like this they kept
went
things
through the
easy, quick, to the point. And I will admit, again, Kyuranger does have another advantage here.
It has a lot of setup.
It has a lot of characters. So just talking about each character's introduction.
That's what I mean.
That's 5 minutes right there. You talk about how Q Thomas work.
There's a lot of setting.
What's going on with the story at the moment. All that stuff, it adds up. Blah, blah, blah. Whereas,
So anyone who's coming in mid-season is now caught up.
You look at something, on the other hand, like Dino Thunder's Test of Trust late in the season, where they're just kind of talking about how much things have changed since they started.
The reminiscence-based clip show.
The reminiscence-based clip show,
so trite.
It very rarely delivers really much of anything other than, okay, this is what we're doing. And the thing is that they still want to try and force in some action there, so we get memories of how much they've evolved as characters that for some reason or another also has just random clips of them fighting as rangers that don't actually have any bearing on anything.
And sometimes when you have the Reminiscence Phase clip show and they try to show how much they've grown as characters, you realize they haven't actually changed at all.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Now this just focused very simply on
explaining the show.
Explaining the show. And that's
so those of you just catching up with us, these are our rangers. This is how Q-Tamas work. Join the next episode.
And they're explaining the show at a turning point in the plot. We've got a ranger who's gone evil. We've got another ranger who's on a mission to the past. And those are two key turning point plots that it's good to get caught up to date on both of them.
Also, there's another point. Because it is a show that goes round and round and round and never has a hiatus.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible that there are...
Yeah, you can miss... You could
miss some things, but also...
Yeah.
You're probably quite likely to miss things during the summer when you don't have a regular schedule.
Yeah.
During the school year, you're more likely to see what you're seeing because you have a more regimented schedule. And we're about to start the school year.
That is a good point.
So now is the time to get people caught up on anything they might have missed over the summer.
That is a good point. So yeah, and then you compare it to again things like Power Rangers, where a lot of times these clip shows aren't
They're
really
for
coming.
Budgetary reasons.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with catching up the audience.
Yeah, and they really need to, I think, pick and choose those how they're using those clip shows for story purposes a little bit better.
I mean, yeah, because for example, don't blow that dough.
Yeah, that just was. You take that episode out.
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
I mean, I'm going to go back to Avengix 1, although some of the clip stuff done, and that was ham-handed, the surrounding story was actually very important.
Dr. K went outside.
Dr. K went outside.
And they developed the her and Ziggy a little bit more.
And as far as character development went, that was important because it went on to come to a culmination in the finale when she once again went outside.
Yeah.
Because she had to fight some stuff, and then it turned out to be buddy with Ziggy.
Yeah.
So there was advancement. If you took that out, you might actually be confused later on about why this isn't a big deal, because we already covered it back here. We went outside.
I feel like you need to have...
you need to have a hook like that makes the episode
You
important.
need to have something for the audience to get caught up on.
Like, in this case...
Who are all these characters? What are they doing? That's the main thing. And
but
very
also
rarely...
you need a hook that's going to keep people invested in the surrounding plot.
Right.
Like, who cares about this interdimensional game show? But we do care about whether or not these Indavers are really defectors.
Right. But yeah, who are these characters? What are they doing? If there should be something going on in the story of the show where, it's like, okay, this is what we're in the midst of. We are in the middle of something.
We haven't called a halt to the plot while we do our clip show.
Yeah, it's not we're in a lull in between events. We are mid-event, about to move forward and getting you caught up to date, not getting us caught up to date, not getting the characters caught up to date. The characters know what's going on. It's getting the audience caught up to date.
You may have an audience proxy like the Indavers, but it won't be your main characters.
Yeah, that's a good...
They know what's going on.
The Indavers are the audience proxy, and they made a great audience proxy, partially because, they are interchangeable.
Yes.
So they work well as an audience proxy.
And, they could have so easily fallen into the lull.
Yeah.
Because this was basically a travel episode.
Yeah.
They could have spent a bunch of time sitting on the bridge talking to each other and reminiscing.
Things. But they didn't. They gave them someone to talk to.
They gave them the Indavers. They gave them a mystery.
Yeah. And that
was so easy to fall into that trap, and they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So there was this was a good clip show, and it worked well, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun with this episode. The characters all really shined in their different interactions with the Indavers. I liked that.
Raptor got one all on their own.
In the present day, Hami's still very melancholy over feeling overly responsible with regards to Naga.
I told him to
And it's great that Hami is having character moments, finally.
Yes.
That is huge. First, because she has not really had those. And
no.
I'm glad
been
that
getting short shrift on character build.
I'm glad that this arc is finally giving her that. Even if it is very much solely based upon someone else's main character arc, and clearly she is more of a background character to this compared to Naga and Balance, who is going to, who has the tighter relationship to him. Her feeling responsible for it is I think, a very nice choice.
Yes, this is more emotional development than she's had.
Yeah.
So although it's still less than some of the other characters, it's a step forward, and we like that.
We've gotten into a good groove now that we're halfway through the series. The characters have identities, and you can really just play with them in an episode like this, and that's great. So I think we've probably gone on more. We've done a lot of discussions tonight. We've gone off on a lot of things about story structure and how a clip show works between this and the Power Rangers library. Whew. Hopefully we don't run out of footage. So.
You mean video?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should call an end to it then.
Yeah, I think it's about time.
Not footage, but video space.
Yeah, I think it's about time to I think it's about time to call it a night. So.
Yeah, we could go to sleep.
Yeah. Until next time. Farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. Do you remember that time we did a live reaction?